Welcome to the 12th Report with Blessings Mosugu, and these are the headlines. All eyes on River State Government House as residents await return of Governor Fubara. FCT nurses drop 15-day ultimatum, threaten strike as overworked staff demand 5,000 recruits on paid hazard allowance as well. And to Cote d'Ivoire, prosecutor denies opposition kidnap claims ahead of October 25 elections as Gbagbo allies barred and the President Ouattara seeks fourth term. As usual, we have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country and outside. We have Bongani Siziba joining us from Malawi, Yola Festus, Israel Eferobo, and Austin Azu joining from different parts of River State, Aisha Saliu in the nation's capital, Abuja. We'll connect also with Afia Hagen from London much later. We've got the details in a moment. We begin now in River State. The expected resumption of office of Governor Siminalayi Fubara is still generating excitement in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Thousands of supporters gathered at the Port Harcourt International Airport, ready to welcome Governor Fubara back to the state. The governor's supporters had trooped out in their numbers on Thursday in anticipation of his return. He, however, failed to resume. After a 6-month state of emergency imposed by President Bola Tinubu, Fubara is expected to resume his duties soon. Right now, we have Austin Azu, who is on standby to give us more updates on this. Austin, you've been monitoring activity at the airport. Is there any sign of Governor Fubara's arrival or movement that suggests that he was returning to the state today? Because we've been expecting his resumption for over 24 hours now.
Yes, we are currently at the Port Harcourt International Airport, and behind me you can see a private aircraft believed to have conveyed the governor back to River State after staying away from the corridor of power for the past 6 months. In and around me, you can see some supporters and some journalists outside at this point in time to take the entrance walk of the governor back to the city. Outside this tarmac, we have a mammoth crowd over there who are still expecting to meet with the governor. Drums, everyone seems to be celebrating the returns of the governor back to the state. Everyone is still waiting to see the governor stepping down from this aircraft, and it's believed that as soon as the governor steps down from this place, there are a motorcade outside that is going to convey the governor to the government house, thereafter proceed to other events that he might be doing today. So these are what we have at the moment. However, we are expecting the governor to step down. As soon as he steps down, we don't know if he's going to grant an interview with the press or maybe he will just move straight. But however, all things being equal, it's confirmed that the governor is inside his private aircraft, and that is why you see a lot of persons here to capture his first entrance back to Rivers after his absence from the States. So back to you, Blessing, in studio.
Thank you, Austin. Let me quickly come to Biola Festus, my colleague Biola Festus, who's also covering the Rivers politics. Biola, you've been speaking with residents who waited to welcome the governor. What are they saying about his no-show and the overall uncertainty even till this moment?
The people appear undeterred. Yesterday when we spoke to them, and even this morning, they said the time spent waiting for the governor is no waste, that they came out with their whole mind to welcome their governor back to the state. So they don't seem bothered about the man-hour that must have been lost yesterday, because the kind of crowd we had at the government house and on the streets of Port Harcourt yesterday, of course, without being told, indicated that several thousands of Rivers people did not go to their workplaces yesterday. So that man-hour they put out there just to welcome their governor. However, despite not seeing him that yesterday, they still stand on the stop. Well, I'm currently at the River State Secretariat now. I was hoping to see crowd of people and those workers around here, but just a few workers have been seen around in the River State Secretariat. Even in the offices, we could barely see the much people as expected. Perhaps some of them are at the airport waiting for the governor. Blessing.
All right, Biola Festus, has there been any statement from the government house itself? Because, I mean, the people deserve to understand what exactly is going on. If there's a certain kind of defiance or the absence is due to travels, people need to know because they have been anticipating his return. So has the government house, responded to any of this?
No statement, official statement from the government house from the midnight of the expiration of the emergency. But what we do know is that at about midnight, the former administrator of River State, Ibokete Ibas, had inaugurated the head of service ahead of the governor's arrival. Don't forget that the former head of service was in the midst of some controversy that led to several discussions across the state. I'm talking about Nweke was the former head of service. So a new head of service has been appointed by Ibas just few minutes to the expiration of the emergency rule. So that's where we are at the moment. Well, when Governor Fubara comes, it's left for him whether or not to continue with that candidate or with that person that Ibokete Ibas had appointed just few minutes to his exit from River State Government House.
All right, Biola Festus, please just hold on for a bit. Austin Azu, we can see visuals of the plane that you're standing in front of, and you've mentioned that there's some dignitaries there. Are we expecting movement anytime soon? Where is the plane moving to? What is the situation with the plane? All right, again, let's try to reestablish connection with Israel. Israel, please confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. So we understand that there have been a large crowd that gathered at the governor's government house. What is the atmosphere there at this moment? Because we understand that you are there to give us live updates, considering the fact that there was a no-show by the governor.
No show by the governor yesterday could turn out to be a real show today, because from what you heard now from Austin at the airport, there's a mammoth crowd there waiting for the governor. Just yesterday there was a mammoth crowd here at the government house, at the other entrance into the government house. Speaking about the situation here at the government house, this area here is really calm. There is no one here, just a few security officials on the ground here at this particular entrance into the River State Government House, and we have gotten feelers that yes, he will be making use of this entrance into the Government House. We understand that this is to curtail the rush of onlookers and supporters who may be trying to welcome the governor, and this was what they tried to avoid yesterday. Some of them have claimed. So the situation here at the Government House on this side of it is calm. Just a few vehicular movements in this area, and then the people here are just eagerly waiting, anxiously, and indeed just happy to receive the governor. Blessings.
All right, Israel, thank you for the update. Let's try again to find out from Austin what's happening with the plane over there. Austin Azu, if you can hear me, what is the situation with the plane? Are we expecting movement anytime soon?
Blessing, behind me you can see a private aircraft, but we don't know if this is the aircraft that conveyed the governor. But everyone is waiting here, and we have a lot of persons who are here expecting the arrival of the governor. But we don't know if this is the aircraft that is conveying the governor. That's what we can confirm to you for now. Everyone is just waiting.
All right, so, but Austin, also let me find out from you if there has been any response from any government official where you are, or it's just been radio silence.
No one can confirm at the moment. No one can confirm at the moment. We don't have any authorities on ground now to confirm to us if this is the aircraft that is conveying the governor.
All right, thank you so much, Austin. Let me go back to Biola now. Biola Festus, we are expecting that hopefully the governor shows up today. Is there a crowd where you are? Are people gathered in expectancy, or have they been demotivated and gone home?
There are no gatherings in Rivers State for the welcome of the governor apart from the airport. Now, all attention was focused on the government house yesterday. We had the mammoth crowd gathered around the government house yesterday, which went down to the street beyond the government house. So today, I was at the front of the government house some minutes ago, and there was not even what we reported from there earlier in the show, in our early morning show, and there was not one person there waiting for the governor to arrive. So all the supporters, all the people that are waiting for his arrival are currently at the airport, none outside the airport that we have been able to sight since the beginning of the day. Blessing.
Biola Festus, Austin Azu, and of course Israel, thank you so much for the updates. And we're looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Hopefully the governor surfaces today. Meanwhile, the State House of Assembly resumed plenary on Thursday, officially ending the 6-month emergency rule declared in the state by President Bola Tinubu in March. At the session, lawmakers led by House Leader Major Jack and Deputy Leader Linda Somiari Stewart moved a motion calling on Governor Siminalayi Fubara to submit a fresh list of commissioner nominees and present a new budget proposal for the remainder of the year. The motion, supported by 26 members, also demanded a review of financial activities carried out during the emergency period, including contracts awarded and funds spent by the former sole administrator. Speaker Martin Amirwule said the Assembly would formally write to the governor requesting the budget and the names of nominees for the State Executive Council.
The Rivers State House of Assembly will continue to abide by the terms of the peace pact between us, the governor, and all stakeholders for the interest of this state and of course for the good governance of their states. Thirdly, the House resolved that we should call on the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, to forward the list of his nominees for appointment as commissioners into the Rivers State Executive Council, so that the will of governors of the Rivers State can begin to move in the direction it should move, knowing fully well that it is important that there should be an Executive Council that has to be constituted by men and women of integrity, people that are screened by the Rivers House Assembly in line with the Constitution, people who are willing to assist the governor to make Rivers State what it should be. The House also resolved that we should call on the governor to commence the process.
We're still staying on Rivers politics, a very interesting turn of event, and of our correspondents who are covering this story, Austin Azu is currently where there is an aircraft conveying some dignitaries that we're not very certain who they are yet, and this is the live footage. So we're going to stay on this to find out if there's any movement and the dignitaries that we will see in the aircraft. All right, there you have it. The governor of Rivers State, who was expected to resume office yesterday, and this is following the excitement and expectancy of the people of Rivers State after the 6-month emergency rule declared by the president in the state came to an end yesterday. There was no show. There was a no-show by the governor, and this led to a lot of worry and uncertainty by the people of Rivers State. Contrary to yesterday, according to what Biola Festus had said, there is no crowd that gathered to welcome him today because people weren't sure where he was and why he was absent. But as you can see, our correspondent Austin Azu, who had been covering the aircraft, and at first were uncertain which of the dignitaries was actually in the aircraft, but it turns out the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has finally resurfaced, and you can see a mammoth crowd around him. Is definitely eager to welcome him back into office. It's left to find out where he is headed to next and what his next line of action will be. But as you can see, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, in person.
Then unplug. They should wait till, maybe wait till my He's moving now.
All right, we're going on a short break now. When we come back, we'll still stay on River State politics and, of course, other stories. Do stay with us. All right, still on Rivers politics, we still have our correspondents, Biola Festus, Israel Eferoba, and of course Austin Azu, who is currently where the Governor Siminalayi Fubara is. Austin Azu, just to get a feel of what's happening there right now, we can see the mammoth crowd, we can see jubilation and rejoicing, and we can see a lot of movement. What is the situation at this time?
Okay, now the governor just arrived, and the mammoth crowd you are seeing behind me and outside these premises indicates that the mammoth crowd came to welcome the governor, and the governor is set to move from this place right now. Of course, you can see the vehicular movement and human movements. Of course, attention has now been shifted to Government House, so we believe that the governor will be going straight to Government House to assume duty. So that's what we have for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Austin Azu, for the update. All right, Israel, I'm hoping that you have been following. Thankfully, the governor has shown up today. You said it at your introduction that a no-show could be a re-show today. Based on your research and what the people have been saying and their agitations, how do you think that they will welcome this news, seeing as the governor has finally decided to come back into office?
Massive. The reception will be massive. The people will be happy, and they have been speaking to us since we got on the ground that they are hoping that he will come in and just steer the affairs of the state. They are happy. Everyone that I've spoken to ever since we came into town, they are all excited that the governor is indeed returning. You can see me trying to see exactly what's going on here, and that's because in the last 3 minutes there have been a large presence of security officials in this area. When you spoke to me earlier on, you did not see this number of security officials here, but they have mobilized in the last 2 minutes, and that's why we have so much activity at this particular entrance into the Government House at this point in time. We have been reliably informed that the governor may just be coming into the Government House through this particular entrance, and that's why we are standing by right here to capture that particular moment. For the people of River State, they are happy, they are calm, they want their governor back, and we'll see how all of this pan out in the next few hours and in the coming days. Blessings.
So much for the update. All right, we're looking forward to seeing how this turns out, and we're waiting to welcome the governor of River State, as Israel has said. The health sector, in a heartfelt appeal for improved working conditions, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives Federal Capital Territory Council has issued a 15-day ultimatum to the FCT administration. The notice dated September 15, 2025 is demanding urgent action on pressing welfare concerns, with a potential 7-day warning strike if its demands are unmet by midnight of October 2nd, 2025. This development signals a critical moment for FCT's healthcare system, which many believe will place a strain on the healthcare needs of residents. Some of the demands include the urgent recruitment of over 5,000 nurses to meet the World Health Organization standards, 1 nurse per 4 patients, the immediate provision of equipment and consumables to ensure safe, effective care, the full payment of 13 months hazard allowance arrears, amongst others. And to further discuss this, I'm joined by our correspondent, Aisha Saliu. Aisha, what has been the immediate response from the FCT administration, if any, since the ultimatum was issued? Are there any signs of negotiation or engagement with the nurses' union?
FCT is just escalating, and it's even in a very precarious state at the moment. You'd recall just a few days ago, the resident doctors in the FCT equally embarked on an indefinite strike, which put a lot of strain on the rest of the healthcare workers. particularly the nurses. And now the nurses have issued a 15-day ultimatum to the Federal Capital Territory Administration, issuing out a number of concerns and demands, and saying that once the night of October 2nd, once their demands are not met or there is nothing coming new, then they would embark on a 7-day warning strike. And I heard from the leadership of the Nursing Association in the FCT earlier today, and he did mention that the FCTA, since they issued that letter and the day is counting already, there hasn't been any form of contact from them to call them to see what they can do. But for now, there is no such contact at the moment, no new development regarding that. But right now, it just means that the healthcare sector in the FCT is still facing a lot of challenges, since the doctors have down tools and now the nurses who are already overworked and overstretched, and with a few number of personnel on ground, it just means the situation is escalating.
So Aisha, I mean, it's interesting to see that the nurses are taking a stance on this, but with the demand for a recruitment of 5,000 nurses to meet the global standard, how realistic would you say that this is, considering that they have a 15-day or a 15-day ultimatum, and even the payment of the arrears, but especially hiring 5,000 new persons in less than 15 days? Is this realistic at all?
Well, I'm not sure how realistic that can be, but then when you speak with these health officials, they would mention that there are many healthcare professionals who are waiting. I mean, and once the government declares a state of emergency on that particular sector, it's not like there are people who are not available to be employed. It's more of the will of the government to say, okay, we're taking this action today and we're doing that. The nurses are complaining. They're saying they're overstretched. They're working more, and this has also given back to the Japa syndrome, where some healthcare professionals are traveling abroad, and they, apart from the workforce, they're also asking for infrastructure, amongst other things. So I don't know how realistic that can be, but then officials and healthcare professionals are saying that there are lots of healthcare professionals available even in the FCT, and once the FCT declares a state of emergency today, they would get those people on board, and then also their welfare catered for.
Aisha Saliu, thank you for the update on that, and we'll see how the government responds to this. It's a very critical need of the health sector, and we're hoping that there is a resolution in no time. Meanwhile, healthcare services across the Federal Capital Territory remain crippled as resident doctors continue their indefinite strike. In an attempt to end the action, the Senate on Thursday held a marathon meeting with striking doctors and medical union leaders in Abuja. Lawmakers appealed to the doctors to suspend their strike, promising that their grievances will be addressed. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim reports.
The doctors, led by George Ebong of the FCTA Association of Resident Doctors, began the strike on Monday, accusing the FCT minister of neglecting their welfare and exposing them to poor working conditions. Chairman of the Senate Committee on FCT, David Jimkuta, alongside other lawmakers, commended the doctors' patriotism despite mass exodus of their counterparts and assured them that steps would be taken to resolve their concerns.
I want to plead with you. I'm giving you my own commitment now. I want to plead with you now before my distinguished colleagues. Call of this strike, give us the opportunity to discuss with them. Like me, I'm going to see the minister personal today by the latest tomorrow. But I believe this night we are going to see. And I believe something will happen. I'm sure. Health, the day that the minister will visit the health, you see changes. In terms of welfare.
On their part, the doctors described their working environment as risky and unprofessional. They also cautioned against any attempt to enforce a no-work, no-pay policy, warning that it could escalate into a nationwide health crisis.
Issues with our working conditions. If you come to a hospital like Wuse District Hospital, you will see that we don't have like an X-ray machine. Our X-ray machine has not been working for like 3.5 years. And we are beginning, or we are recording preventable death because we are not having enough hands to prevent those people from dying. Doctors are leaving, nurses are leaving, pharmacists are leaving the government hospitals to work in private hospitals. And then we're having more of the shortages of manpower. So that's the problem.
It is going to be a national disaster that if any doctor in FCTA is sacked, just because they're agitating for their right, we are going to declare a state of emergency from the National Office of NAD, and my own members have directed me that everybody is going to join in a solidarity strike.
The Senate says it will continue consultations to end the strike and restore normalcy to FCT health facilities. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
The governor, Caleb Mutfwang, has assured residents of his commitment to implement the recommendations of the fact-finding committee set up to address the persistent violence in the state. The governor made the pledge while receiving members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors at the Government House, Rayfield, Jos. The committee, inaugurated in May 2025, was tasked with investigating the root causes of recurrent attacks, killings, and destruction across Plateau. In its reports, it revealed that 420 communities in 13 local government areas had come under violent assaults between 2001 and 2025, with more than 11,700 lives lost. The findings were drawn from consultations with victims, security agencies, and documented records spanning over 2 decades. The people of Iberenta in Ikona local government area of Abia State can now heave a sigh of relief, with the flag off for an emergency erosion control and road construction of Iberenta-Oro-Ibere Road. The road has been in a deplorable state for decades, with indigents left to their fate. The countless cries of the community have now caught the attention of the Niger Delta Development Commission, which has committed to fund the construction work. To speak on the deplorable state of the road in Iberenta community before the intention to fix it, we have Chinwe Ogele, who is still on standby. All right, please give us a feel of what the people are saying. How long have they lived with this road, and what's their reaction now to the intention to fix it?
So this is a Oro-Ibere community here in the local government area of Abia State, and the people have been with this kind of road for over 60 years. They've made several pleas to the government and some authorities, but they've all fallen on deaf ears. But today the people are ecstatic, like the community is not even sure that this will be a reality. So they are all waiting to see the flag of take effect today. So for over 60 years, the community has had to live with this kind of road that is very bad. And this is an agrarian community, if you must know. 3/4 of the garri eaten in Abia State agriedly is produced from this community. They also have palm wine and plantains and so many other things. So, and even cocoa in large quantity. So I have here with me a son of the soil, an elder of the community, who will help us understand what this day means to the community. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So can you tell us what's your name, sir? Tell us how you feel about this day.
Exciting is saying this road we have been done. I'm on calendar 263. We can cancel that as this will try before
sponsor of this road will be able to finish it and in record.
Yes.
All right, that was it from Iberenta community. We'll try to circle back to that when we have better connection. It's now day 4 since polls closed in Malawi, and yet official results are still being expected from the Malawi Electoral Commission. The nation remains in suspense, with no word from the commission on the final tally. Meanwhile, on the streets, unofficial results are circulating, and they suggest that former President Peter Mutharika is leading the race. But these are unverified, and the Electoral Commission has repeatedly emphasized. The Commission has also issued a stern warning to political parties and candidates to stop announcing or spreading unverified results. Our News Central's correspondent, Bongani Siziba, is on ground with more on this. Bongani, what is the atmosphere like on ground with the delay in the results?
afternoon, Blessings, and also good afternoon to our viewers. Malawians are still sitting on the edge of their chairs, waiting for the election result. But the good news is that something is happening. If I could move away from the shot to allow my colleague Swanelo Mkasibe to show you what is happening there. Those boxes are the election results that have come through to the tally center. If I could ask him to just give you a close view. So the party members are there trying to verify to see that the boxes are closed, they are sealed, they came through, the securities really came through with the boxes sealed. So this is what is happening now. Boxes are being opened here at the tally center. So the party members are there just to make sure that this is what is happening there, as you can also see. But let me just bring in a political analyst, one of our main guests that I met here, just to speak to us about what is happening here and why it has taken so long for these votes to come here and also to have those results. Good afternoon, Ase. Thank you for joining us. We are here again at the background. We can see that boxes are being opened. How long do you think this is going to take for Malawians to know who they voted for?
It is basically a process that may take painstakingly longer than what most Malawians would anticipate, because according to the electoral laws, it's supposed to take 8 days from the day of polling to the day when the Malawi Electoral Commission makes the official pronouncements of the results. So we still have got a couple of days to go, maybe into the middle of next week. But basically, it is also because of the logistical hitches that this particular election is encountering. So to transfer the ballot papers and other materials from the various remote locations to this central location, which is called the National Tally Center in Lilongwe. For some of the materials, it is proving to take longer. But also there is a background, because just last week, the courts in Malawi, the High Court in Malawi, made a ruling that the Malawi Electoral Commission should not pronounce the results on the basis of the results that have been received electronically only, but that the final results should be announced on the basis of the combined results from the electronically transferred results and the manually counted results. So just like in the picture that you're showing recently, these are now the evidence of the manual logistics that are expected to arrive here in Lilongwe at the National Tally Center from all the 28 districts of Malawi, but also from all the local areas. So this is going to take longer than Malawians are expecting, but we hope that this waiting will still happen within the 8 days as anticipated by the law.
Thank you so much. That was Mavuto Bamosi, political analyst here in Malawi, just taking us through what is happening here and when we anticipate the votes. But as we wait for what is happening here, the boxes are being opened. We still anticipated that any time we will get the results, if not today, tomorrow, results will start coming in. It's now back to you in the studio.
Mangani Saziba, thank you for the update on Malawi elections. We go on a short break now. When we come back, the 12 report continues. Stay with Hey, thanks for staying with us. Now, the two-day Akwa Ibom Electricity Summit entered its second day today. The summit, which has brought together policymakers, regulators, industry players, investors, and development partners to fashion out ways to attain energy security and access for Akwa Ibom State. News Central's business correspondent Joanna Mustafa is at the summit in Uyo and joins us to give us an update on what's happening. Joanna, first off, how's the summit going? What is the convergence about, and what are the conclusions that have been made so far?
I mean, we are live in Yesterday was day one, set the foundation for the conversation. Obviously, Akwa Ibom State has set the ball rolling with developing its electricity market. Yesterday, the potentials were established for the state. Today, the focus is more on attracting investments to the state. Obviously, electricity, the consideration is no longer just a commodity or a social service, I beg your pardon, but it should be considered a commodity. I have with me now the immediate past Commissioner for Energy in person of Larry Odushote, who'll be telling us more specifically about Akwa Ibom's potential when it comes to attracting investment to its electricity markets.
Akwa Ibom has a lot going for it here. It's published its electricity policy that makes it clear what it wants to achieve. It's also provided a law that makes it clear to investors that any funds that they put in will be recoverable. It's also having a conversation today and yesterday with the industry and also with stakeholders to let them know what it intends to do. Fortunately, has the building blocks for having a successful electricity market. It has a lot of not just gas assets in the ground, but also gas processing capacity that it can leverage to provide for the emerging power sector. What Akwa Ibom State can do is to turn itself into an industrial hub in Nigeria, attracting investors from all over the place to establish industries here and become a rival to other states. Because what's happened with the devolution of powers in the power sector has turned the electricity sector from the playground of the federal government, where it could, based on political alignment, and move investments to different states as it will. Today, states will be competing for the investment, and any state that offers investors the right atmosphere and the right framework for returns will be the one that attracts the investment that it needs for its development and growth.
Thank you very much. We'll continue to keep you abreast with what's happening here. It's the final day, it's day 2. The focus again is on attracting investment as they get the ball rolling with developing their electricity markets here in Akwa Ibom State.
All right, thanks for the update, Joanna Mustafa, on the summit. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump and U.S. First Lady Melania Trump arrived at the White House in Washington after returning from a state visit to Britain. The couple departed from London's Stansted Airport shortly after he and the UK Prime Minister spoke to the world's media as they hailed the two countries' special relationship. Sir Keir said a tech deal with the US would change lives and mark a new era, following crunch bilateral talks over trade, Gaza and Ukraine earlier in the day. However, Trump told the UK Prime Minister to take a tougher line on tackling illegal migration. For more on this, I'm joined by our senior international correspondent and anchor, Afia Hagen. Afia, can you tell us what's been the reaction to this historic second state visit of President Trump?
Well, sources in Buckingham Palace behind me, working behind the scenes, say that the King is absolutely thrilled with the way the state visit has gone, feels that he did everything that he could do, along with the Prince and Princess of Wales. Quite unusual to see them so front and centre of this state visit. But like I said, sources in Buckingham Palace saying that they are thrilled with how this state visit has gone.
What are we expecting? I mean, of course, there have been talks about world peace, about the situation in Gaza and the likes. They've had a banquet. After these meetings, what do we expect? What kind of agreement or arrangement do we expect from this meeting?
Well, we had that huge tech deal that was signed yesterday at Chequers. That's been widely lauded on the front of the newspapers here in the United Kingdom. Business leaders saying that for the realms of AI and tech, this could make the UK a world leader. And that's what we really need post-Brexit. We need firm trade deals. We need investment in the United Kingdom. So I think a lot of focus is on the tech deal. So Keir Starmer as well impressing on the global stage, but domestically he remains embattled in the Labour government.
Afia Hagen, thank you so much for the update. After what has felt like an eternity of life support, the Nigerian Naira finally staged a dramatic comeback this week, trading well below the 1,500 Naira mark on the dollar. Now, this is a small victory. It's a reason to exhale. But before we pop the champagne, let's not forget that this is more of a survival than it is a cure. So why does this brief moment of strength matter? Because a stable Naira doesn't just look good on a chart. It means a little less panic at the market. It means your food, your fuel, and your medicine might just cost a little less. Isn't that what we all want? It means parents can breathe a little easier about school fees, and businesses can plan for the future without constantly watching their budgets crumble. When the Naira holds steady, life feels a bit less like a daily gamble. But here's the cold, hard reality. We've seen this movie before. The Naira rallies, we celebrate, and then a few weeks later, it's back in a free fall. It's a bit like patching a leaking bucket. If you don't find the source of the leak, the water will just keep running out. Currency strength doesn't happen by chance. It's a product of discipline. It's a product of policy and consistency. So how do we make this rebound stick? By ensuring that dollars keep flowing in, not just from oil, but from everything else we can export. By producing what we consume and curbing our appetite for imports. By building trust with investors so they're not spooked by sudden policy shifts. And crucially, by fighting the inflation monster, because a strong Naira can survive when prices are running wild. So if you happen to be one of the few who was holding on to some greenbacks, perhaps waiting for the right moment, well, that moment might just be now. And that's your postscript. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. All eyes will be on Nigeria's Ezekiel Nathaniel as he chases history in the men's 400-meter hurdles final at the World Championships in Tokyo. The 22-year-old fastest from the semi-finals is out to deliver the nation's first ever medal in the event against the world's best runners. Udoka Njoku, are you ready for us?
Ezekiel Nathaniel is ready as well, because we look forward to a couple of hours' time. Ezekiel will be in action against the best runners in the world in the 400-meter hurdles. And Nigeria is awake, and we're looking forward to that one, hoping and believing that we can yet again win another medal right there in Tokyo, Japan. Talking about the World Athletics Championships. And of course, it was Tobi Amusan who won the first medal for Nigeria. We look forward to all of this and many more, especially on In the Game, which kicks off in a couple of minutes' time.
Most definitely, there you have it. Thank you, Doka. Stay tuned on In the Games and do well to follow us across all socials. Most importantly, do well to send us your eyewitness report, because we want to see what you see. Follow us and watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and GoTV channel 23. You can also watch it live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Masugu.